Hey, what's happening? Sorry, I am like a mess today. There's just so much going on. How are things? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of Distory, and you're wondering why am I wearing this adorable, amazing Mickey Snowman hat? Well, it's because we have a special Distory for you where we are going to be covering off the Christmas parade and the history of the Christmas parades that have happened in Walt Disney World for all the way from the 60s. So, all right, hang on, let me... Boop, 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 boop. Hello.
Hello.
Dude, I don't know why, but for yours it said hashtag learn. Like, is
What?
this like a category? Are you in a category of hashtag learn now?
They must have put me there because I didn't put me there.
It's where you belong is in a hashtag learn.
Oh gosh. Well, the beef.
I like
okay,
it.
Sam, I'll try that.
I
Sorry,
like the get up.
food. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
You are very Merry Christmassy.
I know this one doesn't light up, but I was telling everybody I got these ears when I went to Disneyland Paris in 2006. And what? These ones still light up. Like, watch.
Oh wow, those are really cute.
Aren't they cute?
That is
Got a
cool.
bell.
It's just your one doesn't go, but all the
No.
other ones are good.
I mean,
That's
for
that's really cool that it goes.
2006.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Dude, I don't push it too off. I don't let the kids push it like constantly because then it will just burn out. But and
Yeah, otherwise you would worry about it.
then,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one, Elliot's. It's a goofy one with ears.
Oh, those are so cool.
Isn't it fun?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bell.
I think mine lights up, but I don't think you can really see it that much. Hang on. I don't know. Yeah, you can a little bit.
It's cute.
See, yeah, this the mouth. Although I have to re-sew his little hat because his hat
Oh,
keeps on wanting to
yeah.
come off. They had these last year, and I found it at the Character Warehouse like a month after Christmas for like $1. And I was like, yes, I'm in.
Yeah,
Did I turn
$1.
it off? I didn't turn it off. Nope.
Mine just shuts off on its own. It's just like,
That's kind of like my brain. It just shuts off on its own.
it's great.
All right. So people are probably like, yo, what are you doing? And I'm going to go, yo, this is a sneaky Distory because Kate is going to Disneyland. So next week we have to like pre-record one. So hence why we're pre-recording. But here's Kate. You're going to like this. Ready?
I'm
Because
ready.
we were able to get the one episode that we thought we lost. So anybody who
Oh
is a
my
part of
gosh.
that drama on our
terrible.
Distory, yes, we didn't lose it. But I was a busy bee today. I uploaded all the other ones.
Look at you
and,
go.
And I also, Jackie was nice enough to teach me, so in the future I can resize the videos. Because I tried to do it in Canva and CapCut, and it just stunk horribly. You got to edit on the phone and then upload from your phone, which is like weird to do, but
Yeah, or you
I'm
have
going
to
do
convert
that.
it. You can convert it to a different frame rate, and then you can edit it with any software, which I can show you how to do that later if you want. It's not hard, and it's free. So
All right. All right.
if you ever
The
want to
more,
learn,
the more. Remember, I like just uploaded the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks that I've been absent. So yeah, I mean, anything that makes it easy would be good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll chat later about that. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so excited that episode came back. I don't know if it's because I did put in a support ticket for it, so I'm hoping maybe that made it like they took a look at it.
Well, so here's the thing. I have some that show up on my computer, and I have some that show up on my phone.
Mine
So
didn't show
that
up
was
either.
that was downloaded from the computer. Shoo.
Okay.
don't know.
Well, I'll go see if I can.
You'll
do
have to
it
look to
later.
see if if yours shows up, then cool. If not, we'll have to just do the.
Yeah, transfer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Jackie says my way is probably easier unless he's cutting and pasting clips. So if you're doing a lot of cutting, do it the other way.
I can't cut our episodes except for like maybe the intro, like this, whatever this is. I could cut this part, but like I feel like that's the fun of the show is like the, you know,
I know. I love his,
in like a
whatever
podcast
this
format.
is.
Yes. Well, I don't really know what it is, right? It's just like it's more or less us
It's
catching
chatting.
up before we get into the actual episode. So
Well, it feels more human that way. Otherwise, it's just like, hey, I haven't talked to you in like a week, but let's just dive right into business. Like,
This is the Distory show. Must only talk what's on the cue cards.
no
There's
vamping,
no cue cards. There's
no chatting,
Vamping.
no anything.
Vamping. You know me. I love vampires, so I'd vamp all day if I could.
I know it. I know.
Right.
I still have that.
Somewhere.
I got the proof of it.
There he is. Walrus Carp. Watch out. Wait until Santa Carp shows up, or
Oh, man.
I don't know, Walrus Claws. I don't know which one I like better. I feel like I like Walrus Claws. I think Walrus Claws is better than Santa Carp. But you know.
Oh gosh.
All right. So are we ready to go back to the 60s, time machine style?
50s first, but yes.
Okay, let's go to the 50s then.
Do you want to start? Shall I start?
No, you start because I actually only have stuff from the 60s. I honestly was going with like the first televised one, not like the first time they ever did one. So, because then there was visuals. So
and
I
didn't really get to, because there's so much. I only got to like Disneyland ones, and I have like a couple things about Disney World. So.
I didn't do anything Disney World except for I have
so
last
much.
year's parade. Yeah, it's just I figured we would just focus on this was where we didn't actually really talk about this that much. We just said Christmas parade in our text.
No, we really should have
So like
about it
in my head, I was thinking we would do like the very first start, and really only Disneyland was where my head was at, because this is only one episode. We don't have a billion episodes for this, so
I know.
you know.
I've got a lot though, but I'll try to talk fast. Keep up, everybody. It's gonna be a wild ride.
All right, I will pull up visualizations as you're talking.
Okay, and I do have some pictures too. Let's do an actual start to the show though, so we can have that.
What do you want to call this thing?
Christmas parades.
Christmas parades in Disneyland?
Yes.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a fair thing. All right. Welcome to another episode of Distory with Kate, the Disney Cicerone, and Kirk from Walrus Carp. And today we're doing a one-off episode, and it's about Christmas parades in Disneyland. We just figured we would research something as the holidays are coming up. And you're about to experience Disneyland during the holidays, as I've been already enjoying. Oh, I forgot to show you these little puppies. I am currently showing a fuzzy Christmas croc off to Kate. Yeah, I just scooped these ones. I'm outside, which I'm sure you can hear the monk parakeets. But yeah, I got Christmas fuzzy
so
crocs.
cute.
I know. And they like, for Frankenfeet like me, they had 12s. They never have 12s in like really, really cute ones. They're usually like, oh, we only go up to size 9. I'm like, all right, that's cool. But no, they were like, yeah, we have 12s. I was like, well, do you have 13? They were like, whoa, don't be crazy, you maniac. So they're really comfy.
We dove into the show and instantly went to talking about your Crocs.
Well, I mean, it's like a big deal to me. All right, it's my first pair of fuzzy Crocs, and I'm in love with them, Kate. Like I am in love. I'm out here. I've got the toastiest. I have the toastiest toes of any host. Toastiest toes.
It can't be that cold out there. I mean,
It's
like
freezing.
40s
It's
here.
it's like 64 out. It's awful. I hate this.
64. It's like 40
Yeah.
wet outside, and I don't even think I wore a coat.
Yeah,
wet out.
it's awful out here. Well, I mean, we had a tropical storm. I mean, technically still going on, but yeah, it's like, but it was fine. It was fine. Everything was fine. It's all good.
Oh gosh.
Cozy toes.
Dr. Mickey Mouse Sam says there's so many limited edition Disney vans at Hollywood store in DCA that are size 12. Let me know if you need me to pick you up a pair and bring them to you in January.
Nah, I'm good. I only wear Crocs. I don't wear Vans. Vans would like make my feet all uncomfy. I need to my grippers need some space to move.
Now what I'm going to do is every time I go into a store and I see Crocs, I'm going to look for a size 12. That's going to be my new mission.
I'm telling
in
you,
life.
it's very, very challenging. Very challenging to find. They don't have them a lot of times.
And it's 64 in Anaheim. See, like, I don't even put on a sweater until it gets to like 60, maybe 59. So,
Oh.
yeah. I'm not used to it.
Although I did watch you in the summer erupt into flames. So yeah, I
Yeah,
get it.
I did.
Yeah,
I
you
do
don't
heat.
do. Yeah, July was not a good time.
No, it was bad. You got a front row seat
I
to
was
it.
like,
It was so bad.
I feel like the rule is you can't come here beyond like early June, and
Yeah,
then you still have to stay out of Florida until about now is good. Like you can come in
yeah,
like October. October's
yeah.
fine.
October was okay, but yeah,
Yeah,
no more
like
July
mid
for Kate.
October. Come in like mid October.
July's bad news for me. Okay, well, shall we talk about parades?
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, yes, yes. Let's talk about the whole concept of Disneyland and Christmas parades, which are very through the research. I don't know if it very religious, extremely religious in comparison
Yeah.
to what they have now. But I did make a couple of comparisons to
It
what
was
we
really
have
par for
currently.
the course that in that area. Like I just watched the I don't know if you got a chance to watch that 1962 holiday special that I sent
I watched
you.
all of it. I
Yeah.
watched all of it. I loved every single bit of it.
Wasn't
Like
it
people are gonna want
amazing?
to see this. They are
Yeah.
gonna want to see
We will link that
Waltz
in the
and we'll.
podcast.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and
it is
because
very
it's
good.
really, really good. But in that they had the Columbia, and they actually like had a gift Bible that they gave in the Columbia when they christened it to the ship's captain, as was per tradition. So
I also watched them smash a bottle on the Nautilus, and then they just left like the glass, like the way they hit
like
it.
throw it in to like the
No,
water or something.
she like smashed it on the top, and just like it was like they just laid there. It was
Yeah.
like it was almost like that was a fake bottle. Like that did not. That was like a sugar bottle. You know, she barely tapped it, and it like disintegrated, and then
No,
just laid
oh,
there.
maybe it was the monorail. I watched them christen something when I was doing my research last night, and they broke the bottle, and then she just like dropped it into like the water somewhere. I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure you weren't supposed to do that. I can't
Oh,
remember
this
which one it
one
was
laid.
though.
It laid on the top, and then they sent the ship off, so it just had like discarded glass shards all over it as it was doing its maiden voyage.
Nothing like some extra glass trash on the.
Well, I mean, it's very much like the oceans now. So
Yeah, but you could see why, like, when you found that on the Halcyon and you found that bottle that like didn't break, that that was from the Mark Twain. Like they had a really hard time breaking that bottle, so I think it was a little homage to that history of when they did the Mark Twain and they could not get the bottle to break
yeah,
at all.
I'm 90% sure it was a sugar bottle because she went like this, and it was like, I'm like, because they don't want that to happen again. I'm not gonna lie. If somebody
Yeah.
gave me a champagne bottle, I'm not necessarily smashing it easily over the bow of a ship, nor would I want to hit my ship with a bottle.
No, well, yeah, it's tradition, but yeah. So anyway, let's talk about parades. Christina's like, "Are we talking about parades yet?" Yes, yes, you're here to talk about parades.
What do you? Have you been here? Are you
We
new
do.
here?
So the very first parade, Christmas parade, we're talking specifically Christmas parade, was in 1955, but it wasn't really a Christmassy parade. So
No, it was a parade with figures, but
it had, yeah, it was the Mickey Mouse Club Circus Parade. So what they had was they had something called the Mickey Mouse Club Circus that they were trying to promote, that opened on Thanksgiving Day in November 24th of 1955. Ironically, it later then closed January 8th, never to be opened again, because guests didn't really want to come to Disneyland and see a circus. That was like not why they were there. But, trial and error, they had to figure out that that wasn't their niche, and they, went a different direction. So it's located where the Matterhorn is today in Disneyland, if anybody knows. If you don't know Disneyland very well, if you're walking into Disneyland and you see the castle, it's pretty much to the right of the castle. They had 3 75-minute performances every weekday and 4 on weekends, which included Christmas and New Year's for 6 weeks. So this was specifically this like circus show. And it was the longest live action Disney show to date. So
really,
it's 75 minutes. It's long. 75 minutes is a long time. So so I have this from the, let me show you a few pictures first, and then I have an excerpt from the Disneyland News, which was Disneyland's newspaper. that used to go out in the parks that they would distribute. I have a whole little entry about it to show you guys, but I'll just show you a few pictures first. This was actually the, let me flip this. This is the concept art for the circus itself. Just, pretty much is a circus tent with the Mickey Mouse Club. We have admission ticket to the circus.
Ooh, 50 cents.
Yeah. But it did cost extra. Yeah, and it was not cheap. And then here's some pictures of the actual event itself, just to give you some context before I read things. It was basically the Mouseketeers doing things, and I have a big description of it. This is what the tent actually ended up looking like. And
Screams Christmas to me.
Yeah, it's got some holiday lights, I guess, and this is more of a bigger view of it here. So, I have a few more pictures, but I will read a little bit about it first before I show... Oh, wait, no, I have to show this one first. No, I'm going to go back to that one. Just kidding. This one's a good one of kind of like the area. You can see it would become Holiday Land. Was this area? It was called Holiday Land.
It's pretty tremendous.
Yeah, it's a lot of tents and umbrellas. Definitely staying in the shade there in Anaheim. So this is from the Disneyland News from 1955. It says, Walt's latest venture marks his first entry into the circus field, and the show promises to be one of the greatest things he has ever done. Titled A Mickey Mouse Club Circus, it will present animal acts and aerialists, clowns and elephants, and introduce the public for the first time the Mickey Mouse Club Mouseketeers, including Jimmy Dodd, the Grand Mouseketeer as ringmaster, and Roy Williams, the Big Mooseketeer, as the circus strongman. And I won't read all of this, but they said reserved seats will also be, it's 50 cents for general admission, $1 for children and adults. It'll be located in Holiday Land. It says the show itself will be a fast-paced presentation that will last about 75 minutes. 12 major acts.
Fast-paced.
Yeah. 12 major acts headline the bill. Leading off will be Professor George Keller's amazing feline fantastics, 13 jungle animals, including lions, pumas, ocelots, leopards, and tigers, headline Keller's Big Cat Act. His unique presentation, he works without whip, gun, or chair, has sent chills through every audience he has played. After the professor's act, clowns will ease the tension, and then Walt's own Mouseketeers will take over center stage with breathtaking aerial ballet, especially created for presentation here. Trained ponies, dogs, seals, and Kinko the Clown. So, Kinko the Clown, performing camels and llamas, and Ted Dwayne's troupe of acrobats and gymnasts. And then they said the cost of the big top was more than $30,000. So, it was a lot. And they said then you could build, it has red and white stripes, measuring 185 feet by 130 feet. It'll be the largest striped circus tent in the world. So, very large circus tent. And the seats will be permanently and sturdily reinforced. And another feature, heating installation will make the world's only heated circus tent. More than 200,000 people are expected to see the Mickey Mouse Club Circus during its holiday season. So, it's really interesting. The grand finale of the show would be this ringmaster, Jimmy Dodd, who was the host of the Mickey Mouse Club TV show. He would proclaim, "It is a time when even the toys seem to come to life." And then, Disney, from his realm of fantasy, presents the March of Toys. And then they would do something called the Santa Claus Parade. So this is kind of like, it finally gets Christmassy near the end. So
Right. And was that processional outside, though?
yeah, well, I'll get to that. So that's
Okay.
I'm just kind of saying, like, this is what this
that's what
leads
I
to.
found.
That's what I'll get is the parade part of it. So this is what the parade went to. So it kind of gives you context of the parade. So the Christmas part of it, I actually have pictures of, and it says the magic Christmas tree, 40 feet in 10 seconds, the most spectacular and mystifying circus finale in the history of the Big Top. So they had a white fabric tree that rose from the ground to a shining star at the top of the tent. It just pulled up, and then they would have, they would all sing jingle bells, and they would ring bells, and then they'd have Santa in the sleigh. So Santa in the sleigh at the end was kind of tradition. So I have a picture of what that looks
I
like.
was gonna say I have a picture of him. Right, that's the one that I was looking at.
Oh, okay.
So that was like the fabric. You can see the fabric pulled up tree, and then them pulling the sleigh there with the wheels,
Yes. The wheeled sleigh.
the wheeled sleigh.
Yeah, so that's yeah, so that was the Christmas aspect of it. I also love see if I had any more pictures of the actual circus. So it was quite an affair.
Well, I have. Hang on, I have some of the elephants in this processional, and it's what's interesting is if you can see that I'm going to show a still shot first, and then I'm going to show a moving one. So you can actually see the elephants have like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I can't stand that. I can't zoom on this. The Mickey Mouse Clubhouse ears on them. But then you'll notice that there are some, like the wise men. You have like some of the ideology here, the crescent and the like Middle Eastern kind of vibe. So it's like I think these are supposed to be like the three wise men.
Yeah, they did. They had the three wise men. They had some camels. Three wise men and camels was kind of like the holiday touches to this parade. There wasn't that many though. It was largely a circus parade. I love that you have footage of it. I didn't actually find footage of that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean I found pictures of things.
So they
like
had
the
it was led by so the parade, if we're talking parade, so this was like a parade that was supposed to lead you to the circus to get people to try to go to the circus. It was basically like a giant promotion for the circus. So it was led by Walt and Fess Parker. If you don't know who Fess Parker is, Davy Crockett. He's the actor who played Davy Crockett. So they had, because Davy Crockett was so huge and swept the nation at the time, they had Walt and Fess Parker lead in his Davy Crockett garb, led the first Christmas parade. Was Walt and Davy Crockett.
Also, I don't know if this is Kinko, but can I show a picture of Kinko the clown?
Yeah, please. I would
I
love
don't
to see
know if
Kinko.
this is Kinko, but it's I mean it's horrifying actually.
That could be Kinko.
I mean it's first of all, this is a souvenir of the Mickey Mouse Club Circus, half the price of your admission at 25 cents. But on the bottom it does say copyright 1955, all rights reserved, Walt Disney Productions. So like in my head that is Kinko.
That it could very well be, and it kind of matches these clowns that they have in the parade here.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that could be Kinko. I wouldn't say confirmed because I need more information, but
Look how
yeah,
exciting, maybe they pick one child to lead the parade. Also, this one elephant looks green, but I can't tell if it's a bad image or if
it's
they
probably just the
painted an
coloring of
elephant
it.
green.
Well,
Because I'm
they
like, that
did
is.
paint a lot of animals back in the time. You think of like Babes in Toyland, how they painted all the sheep. They like
I know,
spray
that's
painted
what I'm
them.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
So
I
it's
don't know if there's
possible.
any truth to that, but
Yeah.
there you go. There's
Sorry, we
another
should have done a
picture.
trigger warning for the the clown.
Yeah, well,
Whew. Yeah. So more about the parade. It was so they also had authentic wagons, live animals. It says the action will get underway Thanksgiving Day with an old time circus parade up Main Street. This is the description for it. The entire circus cast, animals, acrobat clowns, and musketeers will march or be pulled in magnificent original circus wagons. The parade will be climaxed by the official lighting of Disneyland's old fashioned Christmas displays, and the entire Main Street will sparkle from the illumination of colored lights on every building and in every shop window. So it was kind of like what triggered the lights, I think, as well. And I do have a few mishaps that happened during this parade, which was kind of fun.
oh no,
so,
what happened during the parade?
so the llamas escaped and ran down Main Street, spitting at guests. So that's fun. A black panther bit the paw off another animal because their cages were too close together in front of a live and horrified audience.
Oh my gosh.
So just a typical day in Disneyland there. And then during the performance, one aerialist's top came undone, and she had to fly through the air, and she couldn't grab it And then she had to clasp hands with like another performer to catch her on the other trapeze. You know,
This is a family program.
I know I'm not trying not to get too graphic, but she had a wardrobe malfunction during her performance.
And there was no Justin Timberlake. So,
The other parts of this, there was the candlelight processional is a huge tradition in Disney.
yeah,
And it kind
yeah.
of it wasn't actually started in 1955, but they did invite choirs to come in and sing on the bandstand
Well,
on Main Street, USA, and they called it the Christmas Bowl.
yeah, so I was going to say, I actually have a picture of the Christmas Bowl and
Christmas
this is
Bowl.
from 1955 with the choirs.
Yeah.
And we see this choir concept happen throughout Walt Disney World, but then also even in that very first footage from 1962 of the first televised Disneyland Christmas parade. So there is a choir is really the starring act at the very end during nighttime, you know?
Yep. It was kind of like what set the mood for the end of the night, like Christmas carols. So, yep.
Yeah, the
There's
Christmas
the
Bowl
Christmas
is
Bowl.
really cool looking. I mean, it's I don't know.
Christmas
There's
Bowl
something
sounds like a food dish. Yes, it does sound like a food dish.
the one thing though that is cool is that they did have a Christmas tree though. There's not a ton of decorations. Like I did find some decorations, like on your fort, you had some wreaths put up, and there are some lights, but there was a tree on Main Street, so
Yeah.
that did exist. That's that bad boy. Wow.
They said that what they wanted to do was make Main Street USA look like Courier and Ives. So if you think of like the holiday,
What does that mean?
I believe that's a great question. Like it's like I wasn't expecting that one. Well, I know it's in the Christmas Carol. I want to say it's like you had Norman Rockwell. I think Courier and Ives was also in that.
It was a New
Yeah,
York printmaking business that operated in 1983.
they made. I used to know all of this.
Lithographs.
Yeah, I feel like pictures,
I mean, if you look at their
books,
pictures,
pictures.
yeah, they're kind of like these. They're not watercolor; they're oil paintings, but they call them lithographs, hand painted lithographs,
It's
based
like
on
art.
news and events. Yeah. So like here, I'll show you. Just this has nothing to do with Disney, but this is the Lexington ablaze kind of look.
So Christmassy. Chestnuts roasting on
Sing
an
on
open fire,
the Lexington
burning in the
bowers.
sea.
Oh my! Oh, it's not funny. It says 100 people perish. You monster! January 13th,
I'm
eighteen
not
forty. I
laughing.
guess it's not. I guess it's not. It's not too soon. Not too soon. You sicko.
I'm not laughing at it.
Hang on. Here we go. This is more Christmassy. Let me show you. This is
That's
Central
what I'm
Park, and
talking
people
about.
they're ice
Yes.
skating
I
and
think it's
very
like an
nice. Yeah.
idealist. It's like an idealist Christmas scene, And so people that was like, oh, that feels like Christmas to me. Like so.
Coincidentally, if you look at the folks in here, decked out in all of their suits and whatnot, very common throughout the early days of Disneyland was you wouldn't come to the parks looking like me, like a schmohawk. You would have to actually look nice, dress up a little
They
bit.
wouldn't wear that hat you have on. Like, come on, they would wear these.
I don't. You should see the Courier and Ives that I'm looking at right now. It's pretty sus, and this dude has a hat. Hang on. All right, children, avert your eyes. There's nothing. It's not that bad. Look at that hat.
Oh my!
Yep.
All right.
She's a Christian though, so
What
I'm
are they doing?
assuming.
Like, is she like pushing the kids' heads away so they
Oh,
don't see?
she's definitely like he's smooching me, and don't look,
Don't look,
kids.
kids.
Look. Kiss Me Quick is the name of this. Children, this is the third time within an hour, and I have placed your hats properly on your heads. There. Ooh, she's smooching with her kiddos around, and she has to pretend that they don't put their hats
Let
on.
me put your hat on
Correct.
a little tighter for you, just to make sure it's okay.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
I can't even read what what Kat's writing in here either. It is so inappropriate. I will leave that to the comments.
This has gone downhill for so Christmassy. Okay, so the first Disney. This is from the former executive vice president of Disney Entertainment, Ron Logan. Okay, he said the first Disneyland parades consisted of the Disneyland band and a few atmosphere groups that would march down Main Street. Now, this is like parades in general. Okay, the parade was a way of performing for thousands of guests without a stage facility, and the Disneyland parades began with Main Street and Frontierland vehicles that evolved into seasonal parades with special floats including Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, etc. It says the parades became a popular draw that could be advertised. The parade times were generally scheduled when lines might be the longest for the attractions of when you want to lead guests down Main Street and out of the park. So this is more like parade strategy for it. But you can see from the beginning, they use parades to either alleviate, the strain on the rides, wait times, or to get people to go places. So like, let's see the parade, and then people are like, and I'm tired and I need to go, out of the park after this, So it's like, it's kind of to like move people places. And that's what we saw with this circus parade, is like they were actually trying to encourage people to follow the circus into the circus tent and then go watch the show, of course, which they would have to pay for. So it was a big giant publicity stunt with Santa.
Yeah.
At the end.
I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of shocking that the parades don't go through a gift shop. They might, maybe in the future. I mean, technically they kind of do, because the Emporium's right there. It draws you to the shops and the foods and there's shops on both sides when you're entering and leaving. So
you're kind of like forced into the gift shops, because like if eventually you can't walk down the middle. You can either walk outside the gift shops on the center, or you have to walk through them.
Epcot's the only one that isn't completely staged with gift shops on the sides for our parks, because Magic Kingdom Main Street, confectionery, vault, glass, the high-end luxury, and then food, and then the Emporium. So yeah, I mean, you can't get out of there. Hollywood Studios is magic bands, pin trading, odds and ends, and then vault, and then on the left side is, yeah, I mean, it's
well, and who doesn't go in through the creation shop? What is it in Epcot?
Creations?
Creations, yeah. Who doesn't walk through there just for the air conditioning alone?
Well,
I feel like everybody walks through there just for the AC.
So that was the problem with Mouse Gear. Mouse Gear didn't really it wasn't the fastest way, because the way that it was shaped, it wasn't easy to use it as like a shortcut. That's where true. Creations is naturally, if you look at the pathway, it is a pathway to cut across to get to Guardians, and or to get over to like Spaceship Earth and get out faster. It is faster, literally, through the gift shop. So the way that I still think that it's one of the best gift shops on property because of the space. You don't, even when it's crowded, it doesn't feel necessarily crowded. Good use of mobile order, and there's exits everywhere, where if you think of like the Emporium, sorry, we're getting into gift shop logic. We should do this another time. I'm going to stop talking. I would love to do a whole topic on gift shops, but another day.
So then the end of that is, he says the signature parades were something that could be scheduled closer to closing and become a major event to keep guests in the park until then as well. So that's why they schedule parades, fireworks shows. It's not just because like we have to wait till it gets dark necessarily. It's because they want to keep guests there longer when they might have left earlier because they're tired. But they're like, no, we got to stay for the fireworks. It's very, very strategic to keep guests in the park longer.
Yeah, and it definitely, I don't know how, well, after a long park day, you're more susceptible to just going, yes, yup. It's just, I can't anymore.
The kids are screaming and want a snack and want a toy and
want whatever,
and you're like,
and you're just like,
yes,
yup.
make it stop.
Please, I am exhausted. I have no will to fight this.
So true. So in 1956, I don't...
Oh, hang on, time out. Before we jump to 56, can I show because it ties into the Mickey Mouse Club Circus, I have
Yeah.
a Mickey Mouse Club card from 1955. So
Okay.
it actually shows a couple of the members of the Mickey Mouse Club, and they're adorned with their Mickey Mouse ears
Oh.
and their badges, and even the clubhouse in the back says Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and then it
I know it's
shows
Mickey
the
Mouse
actual
Club,
parks. Yeah,
not
sorry,
Clubhouse.
sorry. But well, that one is a clubhouse, so
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm with you. The but then it actually shows the park on the back, which I think is pretty cool, and
That
as
is
an
fun.
advertisement too for the parks, because you're gonna be like, what is all this? Like, if you're a part of this club, which means that they have a mailing list, which means that they're sending out probably letters or things from Walt and whatnot. Like, this would be a great way to get people not only as a cool keepsake, but also get people to know that you have a park and you have all this fun stuff they should check out. Like, there's hippos and gators and oh my gosh, what is that? A steamboat? This is crazy. I got to check out these. What is that? There's a pirate ship back there. I don't even know what's going on. I could.
Well, you have to think of like the Mickey Mouse Club really did not have a very long run. Like it was like 3 years, I think, is all it lasted before the networks like nixed it. But it was one of the biggest. It was one of the like first like programs that was designed for children, and every child in America that had a television was pretty much watching it. It was like a captive audience of all of the children in America. And so it was huge. It was absolutely huge. And so it makes sense that they would theme things after the Mickey Mouse Club, as Disneyland opened, because to capture that, that's what the children loved at the time, like let's capitalize on
I
that.
mean, if you think it, yeah, it's brilliant branding.
And I mean, it's like, that's why we have these lovely hats, which I can't put a hat on a hat.
Of course,
Because it
you can
won't
put it.
fit.
You just said you can't put a hat on
No,
a
I got
hat,
up here. I got to put it
dude.
the other side.
I have a hat on a hat. Twinning.
Kidding. I had my original one from 1980 somewhere, but I don't know where it is. This is more of, I think this was 2000s. I got this one.
Hang on. J- Entertain yourselves, kids. I'll be back in 2 seconds because I really want to twin. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Okay. I don't know where mine is. I feel like it's somewhere, but I don't know. I think I tucked it somewhere safe. I've got my jacks from 1955. Those are there. I must have just tucked it away for safekeeping.
So yeah, I this is my Remy cheese ornaments, and mine lights up too.
My batteries are dead. I didn't have replacements. So it does light up.
Our friend in
Oh.
Pocket Fan Maria got me this because she was like, apparently you really like cheese after I ate nothing but Swiss cheese at the dessert party of the fireworks. So there you go.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, that's funny. I do have, before we move on to the next year, I do have this. I guess there's this one. I think it was during this parade because there's like a knight on horseback in the back. But yeah, early Mickey, Mickey of your nightmares. This was before Walt was like, we got to have some sort of continuity with these characters because they were, not, they were varied in height, they were varied in weight, they were varied in everything. There was like zero continuity whatsoever for actually quite some time. So, moving on, 1956, they, for the, what?
Allie just goes, he and Kinko must be friends.
Yes, that's logically saying yes.
That's the real spooky Halloween party.
Okay, 1956. I don't have a lot of information about the parade for 1956. I know that for the candlelight procession, like pre-candlelight procession, under Dr. Charles C. Hurt of the University of Southern California. They had singers from 8 visiting choirs perform as a group on the train station steps, accompanied by the Disneyland band. So kind of like moving closer to that processional feel.
Well, I also got a Christmas tree, and there was also a dancing act as well for that, which
For
did not
1956?
exist. Yeah.
All right. Christmas Bowl back in
So,
action.
yeah, look, you got a tree back here, and then yeah, they're doing a little dancing.
So festive. I like those dresses. Okay, so in 1957, they were like, let's kind of make this a little more Christmassy if we're actually going to do a parade. So that's when we have the Christmas in Many Lands parade, which actually only ran for 2 weeks of Christmas vacation. So they waited till kids got out of school, and that's when they had the parade. And Walt then, at this point, I think he kind of did it in 1955, but this is when he officially started his lifelong tradition of being the Grand Marshal for the first Christmas parade of every season, usually accompanied by his grandchildren. And somebody put in a note here that like who didn't at all enjoy the attention. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I'm not sure. But they said they seemed to be kind of self-conscious.
Oh, there's
But
actually
money,
more Christmas trees than just the one. There's a bunch.
so Christmassy.
Although I never was a fan of like the all white Christmas tree. I'm also
Yeah.
not a fan of the all white lights. That means I'm in a fancy neighborhood and I don't belong here. I need all the colors.
I have all white ones on my tree, so that.
Shocker.
But not in my
Shocker.
front yard. If that makes, I have all colored
Okay.
in the front yard.
Oh, fair enough.
Does that balance it out?
No, well, you know what? Art. Okay, ready? Hang on. I have to add because we have like one of those like pre-lit trees. So like you
Yeah.
have to add things, and we add 2 different things. We add little snowmen onto the white lights, and we also add little like caps. They're caps for the lights of like Santa on there, and they're red too. And then I put like a couple of colored lights on there as well. But no, everything outside has to be multicolored.
Well, we just let our kids like go to town
Becca.
with our outside lights. James pretty much does all of the lights outside for us. So my oldest son. So that's fun. So we just let him do what he wants as long as it's safe. We're like, don't go on the roof, kid. It's good times having older kids. Anyway, so let's talk about 1957, the Christmas in Many Lands parade. Money was pretty tight. It was kind of more of a budget parade to some extent. They did have Disney characters scattered along a lot of community-made floats, and then they also had a lot of local cultural groups dressed in native costumes. So Walt's philosophy was that Disneyland was dedicated to all the people of all the nations in the world, and so it was not unusual for them at the time to invite clubs and historical societies and other groups to participate in Disneyland events like parades, which I think is actually kind of really interesting because they sometimes they would like not show up, or they'd have like 3 of them show up, or like 50 of them show up. Like there was no like continuity about who was actually going to be in the parade because they were volunteers, and you can only kind of expect so much of volunteers. You know, it's like you're getting them for free, you get what you get. You know, that is what it is. So, and do you have any pictures of this one?
I don't have any pictures of that one because like they all kind of blur. I only have the mass choirs on the train station from D23, and then I do have a processional photo from 1958 of them walking down.
Okay.
That's all I got.
I'm pretty sure that this one. I want to make sure I'm showing the right one because I think this is the next one. Yeah, that's the next one. I don't have a lot about this one either. I do have. So I'll just talk about that. So the some of the ones that they had a group from Holland with a tiny windmill float. They had UK represented
All right.
with like medieval costumes.
I'm gonna find these. 1956. I'm on it.
1957, Christmas in Many Lands parade. Well, it's in that holiday. Actually, it's in the holiday video. That 1962, they still had them in there, so it's in that
Okay.
one. Did you see that with the different ones?
I watched that entire thing. I'm just gonna look for some quick snapshots of that before we get to there. See if I can find something.
So they had the group from Holland. They had a group from the
Here we
UK
go.
with
Got him.
medieval costumes. The one from the UK makes me laugh because they're actually dragging a Yule log down Main Street.
Yeah, so here's Ireland, and they're all wearing kilts.
Which, of course, Walt loved that, as in his family
Mm-hmm.
was Irish immigrants.
Hang on, these are not showing all the.
I feel like that's the
You know what? Let
next
me.
one.
I'm gonna pull up here. I'm gonna pull up the video, and
I'll just keep
there. I
chatting
can't
about it
remember
while
if
you do
it's.
that.
Yep,
So
yep, yep, yep.
Mexico, they had colorful costumes and dances with piñatas that were held high in the air. And this parade kind of served as a early precursor to the proposed World Holiday Land that was going to be kind of like a world showcase of holidays around the world that would be internationally themed and paid homage to nearly 30 different countries. So if that sounds familiar, that's because it was that idea later became the World Showcase in Epcot, but it was originally planned to be in Disneyland behind Pirates of the Caribbean was going to be this World Holiday Land. She never actually got built, but that's what this would have been, as kind of a precursor to that. So Kirk's showing this footage. There was one. I'm trying to remember which
This
country.
is gonna show. So there's the
That's
Holland
Holland.
windmill. Mm-hmm.
And again, they're not like huge, giant, impressive floats. These were kind of like community made floats. So more like your local parade.
Mm-hmm.
Some solid windmills there. A good accordion.
The Yule log is coming up. I promise.
The Yule log's my favorite part. This one's weird though. Look at the costumes. That's
Which apparently these were very authentic
traditional.
for
Yeah.
the timepiece of those. Yeah. And that came from Norway. Those ones. And here's the Yule log.
Yule log. just a log.
And then that's like a boar's head.
Boar's head. Mm-hmm.
But that
It was
was
Father Christmas.
hang on. Yeah, Father Christmas. And then the Norway didn't the one have had Christmas with a goat? That was one of
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
He literally it's Santa Claus with a goat. It's a Scandinavian country for sure. Right after Father Christmas. So Father Christmas and then Goat Christmas.
Was it a reindeer? I feel kind of bad.
Yeah,
for that
not very
reindeer.
cooperative reindeer. At least it didn't spit on people
No, it could be
or
worse.
chew off a paw.
That looks like Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mexico. This is Mexico with the piñatas.
Yep. China.
And China. And the music to this is kind of like themed too, at least in this documentary or in this film. It's
We'll
themed
put
for these
we'll put a
countries.
link to this if you want to watch any of this on in our Discord channel
This is Japan.
because it is really fun. There's this is actually this entire special which aired in 1962 essentially was a Disneyland commercial that just was coupled with a Christmas parade at the end, and in the front had like a little vignette of Walt's, which we'll eventually show.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's a lucky goldfish.
And there's the boat. That's all Japan. And then live elephants. Like, again,
Mm-hmm.
this is India with some kids. And look, there's like a little safety rope. She's like holding on for dear life. Oh, no,
And
that's
that's a bear, by the way. That's a bear.
A live bear.
Mm-hmm. There's your llama.
There's the llamas, yep.
Save the drama, Kate.
Save the drama. And a camel.
It's Thursday, or I could make a hump day joke.
I know. Just missed it. So that is obviously that was from 1962, but it's very similar to what happened in 1957. They just kind of carried that parade of nations, if you will, through. The Parade of All Nations was an extension of Walt's commitment to the people-to-people initiative to enhance international understanding and appreciation of other cultures, which I actually really love. I love that there's like let's like appreciate all the cultures. And at the time, Walt was also producing a short documentary series titled People and Places for the same purpose. So he had that going on as well. There is, and then they also had the early candlelight procession grew from this, as well as large choirs followed the Christmas in Many Lands parade from Sleeping Beauty Castle into the plaza. So now they're actually processing versus just dancing and singing in the Christmas bowl, which I'm gonna talk about the Christmas bowl forever because now I just kind of like it.
I do have, so here is one of those processionals. This is the first official, 1958.
I love that.
Have you ever seen any, like, do they still do the candlelight processional in Disneyland like they do in Disney World?
They do, but it's only 2 days and two performances, and it's like an invited audience only for the reserved seats. So like Club 33 members and like higher ups. And then if you want to go to it, you pretty much got to be there at when the gates open and sit in your spot for the entire day, like tag team with somebody else, and or you can try to sneak in right as the show's ending and try to claim your spot for the second show. It's kind of hard to do. So it's not a lot of people get to actually like go and see it just because it's like
Yeah.
it's just hard to do.
Ours is you have to buy a dining package, which they used to do. Regal Eagle, which is a quick service barbecue, that has a dining package, and so does Spice Road Table. They're the cheapest candlelight processional packages that you can buy to go see. You know, everybody always would freak out when Patrick Harris does it. Everybody loves that night. They lose their minds for MPH.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen it ever. I've never been there during
I've
it.
watched recordings of it, but I've never been to it because it's like it's impossible to get to. So, but
Yeah.
it's been tradition pretty much since the beginning to have at least choirs singing in Disney. I do have a few photos. This one's got some happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
And you can see a lot of the decorations on Main Street too. Disneyland is the most decorated U.S. Disney park for Christmas. So there's the most Christmas decorations in Disneyland of any U.S. park. So,
And time out. Jackie said that tonight on Mom Street, USA, right here on TikTok Live with Jackie and Kate, they will be discussing the candlelight processional and holiday things in the parks. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or what is that?
6
6
p.m. Pacific.
Pacific.
Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be a really fun discussion because we'll be talking all things Christmas in the Disney parks. So I'm just going to wear this hat all day. You guys will be sick of me. Be great.
You've been wearing that hat since November 1st. Who are you kidding?
I'm going to bring it with me to Disneyland next week. So if it does happen to get cold, I'll do that. I have, I think some of these photos are actually from the next one. I do like this one, I think is from 57. And it's got some of the characters.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I saw that one. Super cute because they are kind of getting a little bit festive. Just a little bit, not much.
Just slightly.
And like, I'm assuming that's Charles Dickens in the background.
Yeah, the Dickensian
Because they perform
outfits.
Like, most of the choral productions were pieces from that. So.
And I believe that this was also the year they started putting no, wait, that can't be right. This will be later. I was going to say they started putting a star on the Matterhorn, but the Matterhorn wasn't until 1959. But I'll show you anyway what the star will look like. Oh, I love that one.
Oh my gosh.
It's the past and the future all in one Christmas sleigh.
It's got everything. This is the ghosts are all here. This says Christmases past, present collide at Disneyland in December 1958 when the Sputnik era spacemen wandered out of Tomorrowland. Sputnik era is what they're referring to. If kids, you don't know your history, Sputnik was like one of the very first satellites ever launched by, and it actually was launched by the USSR. So it kind of created this like space race-y type thing. And of course, the attraction, Rocket to the Moon.
Oh, yes. And that's where we get paging Mr. Morrow. Mr. Tom Morrow was from Rocket to the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's move on to the next parade. So we got lots to cover. So 1958, I do have a note that was when the first evening candlelight ceremony with 6 choirs performed at the base of Sleeping Beauty Castle. That was like the first official kind of one. But you can see, like, as we've seen this whole time, it's just been kind of getting to that. They just decided to make it official. In 1961. So now this is when we're going into this one I just showed, that we just showed, of the holiday special. The same parade. The parade name changed to Parade of Toys and Parade of All Nations. So,
can I show some toys?
Yes, please.
People had been alluding to this for quite some time. Are these the same? And for my Disney Worlders, yes, they are the same toy soldiers that we have today, and also the same reindeer. And I'll show that in the video footage. And then I also got, this is kind of a little bit cruel. There's literally a mouse and then a bunch of mice in a mouse trap.
Yeah. So this, the Disney live action musical Babes in Toyland was released in theaters on December 14th of 1961. So this was basically a giant ad for Babes in Toyland because they wanted this film to succeed, and it did not do well at the box office. It was a huge fail.
It's so crazy that Disney would name things and use things to promote a film, but the film was a flop, but people liked the parade. It's almost like Disney and Eisner are so similar. It's so weird. I don't know. That's a strange...
Hold my tongue. Hold my tongue till tomorrow, friend. We're going to talk about Eisner tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to get into that because we will just go off topic. So we have to understand Babes in Toyland was the inspiration for this parade. So we have to talk about that just a little bit. The movie was showcased as the Christmas attraction in Radio City Music Hall in New York in 1961. And then Walt even opened a Babes in Toyland exhibit in the Opera House on Disneyland's Main Street on December 17th, 1961, with sets and props from the film to try to drive interest to get people to go see this movie. And then it was also, that's where we saw the giant wooden soldiers, which in the movie are stop motion animation, which we actually later see those same soldiers in Mary Poppins when, they're cleaning up the room. Same ones from Babes in Toyland. But that's where we get the soldiers from. It's just like, if you've ever seen Babes in Toyland, it's like, they're probably the highlight of that film. Honestly, I watched it last night and it was something. Kirk, have you seen Babes in Toyland?
Not the one that you're thinking of. I actually have very fond memories of Babes in Toyland, but not Disney. Well, it might be made by Disney, but it's a remake. It stars Drew Barrymore and Keanu Reeves.
That one might be better.
Oh boy.
This one is in that footage.
Oh boy. This one is horrible, but in the best way possible because I remember it when I was a kid. And I still laugh hysterically when Drew Barrymore hits the cake and it sounds like she's using the potty. We were very immature. We would rewind and play that part back at however old I was.
Yeah, so Babes in Toyland, I won't say too much more about the film, but it was largely like Mother Goose based story. But then there was like these two characters that were going to get married, and then some evil guy decided he wanted her inheritance, so he was going to get rid of her fiance, and it's Annette Funicello that plays the character. I can't remember her name. They're just like, I'm going to marry her instead and force her to marry me, and then the kids go on this big adventure to Toyland, and all the toys, the toy machine explodes. It was really hard to follow. And then they had these creepy trees that weren't creepy. It was they were clearly the creepy trees from Snow White and later on the Haunted Mansion and all those things. But they were singing. So it was they were supposed to be menacing. They actually were kind of cute. So it was very confusing time. So it's an adventure. But I can see why it didn't do well. Yep, you can see there. So so this is the first time we see the giant wooden soldiers and the silly marching reindeer, like we said, are in this parade. And then we had a lot of well-known Disney characters in this parade, but we also had some non-Disney characters that were rented, like a huge two-person black Scotty dog, a brown poodle who could twirl with a poof on top of its head, and then later on there was also a two-person camel whose two humps could rise and fall independently and like twirl. So they had just some like random animals that they also threw in, probably to represent kind of like toys and stuffed animals and things like that. They also had a section with people from different cultures represented, which we saw on the film that we showed earlier with that holiday special. And at the end, they had Santa, and he had Raggedy Ann and Andy behind him. So,
Yeah, which I thought was a unique closer choice.
yeah, must have just been really popular at the time, I guess. Like it's not
Okay,
Disney.
so hang on, hang on.
I know,
I also
but I'm like, I
really,
don't
really
think that's
like.
Disney.
I really love the Christmas trees, the dancing Christmas trees.
Oh yeah.
You, these guys,
Oh yeah, yeah.
they do like a little synchronized dance too. Hang on, let me make this bigger. Because they have hands, like they
I
have
know.
arms and hands on the Christmas trees, and they flopped around.
Oh, the synchronized, yeah. And then they like go around and they go in a little
They
line.
go around in a circle, yeah. And so like the outer ones have like gold garland, and the center bigger tree has silver, and is like basically putting them in rows and creating order out of the chaos. And then here comes our amazing reindeer, which shout out to these looking so similar
They
last
really
year.
do, yeah.
I mean, they really are. Even with the ridiculous tongue, that is a
Which
real
is
thing.
which I love that like not all of these were super creepy. There were some that are actually very cute, you know? But some of them,
No,
we
no,
see
no,
these
no,
old
no.
ones and we're like, that's so weird and creepy looking. There's Raggedy Ann and Andy.
There's Raggedy Ann and Andy, and with Santa.
Santa throwing
And
candy.
what is he throwing?
Candy
Candy,
probably.
rocks,
Hopefully
coal,
not rocks.
panther paws. I don't know.
And then they had the balloons at the end as the ending ceremony. They just released at some point in here too. I don't know. Maybe that was a different parade, but did you see they released pigeons or doves into the air? I think it's probably doves.
Yeah, I think the doves makes more sense than the balloons because this actually makes doves and pigeons drop from the air, not release. So
Yeah, I don't
they
think they
eat
care
all the
about that
balloons.
at the
No,
time.
yeah, they wouldn't.
They
They
did the
would
same thing
not.
for Small World when it opened. They had balloons just like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to play a little bit of that parade more, I have this really great interview with Bill Justice about this parade and the origin of the
Okay.
parade. So I'll
So
just
what do you have a do you know what? I'll do the start with the toy soldiers and you'll narrate. Is that what you're just reading the interview, right?
I'm just going to read the interview
Like
so you guys can just have something to look at while I'm reading.
so we have a
So,
visual. Got it.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Fire away when ready.
Okay, so this was an interview with Bill Justice. He says, Ex Atencio and I, along with Ward Kimball, built all the toys and everything for the film. I think it was around late August 1961. The picture was to be released in the fall, and Walt came down and said, I think we ought to have a giant toy parade in Disneyland. Up until that time, they'd always had a Christmas parade at Disneyland almost from the beginning. The parade was primarily comprised of volunteer groups with people from different countries, and they would make a little float or cart or little of some kind. Maybe they would put their type of Christmas tree and the way it might be decorated in Norway, Sweden, Germany, or whatever. They'd dress in their native costumes and they'd get together with a little group of people that would represent their country. The problem was that all volunteer staff and a lot of them worked during the week, so we'd never know how many would show up. Sometimes there'd be 3 or 4 groups, and other times there'd be 25. Walt felt we needed publicity for Babes in Toyland, and believe me, it needed publicity because it didn't turn out the way it should have. Anyway, X and I were proud of the toys and the stop motion stuff that we did for the picture. Walt said, since we need to get control of the parade anyway, why don't we make a giant toy parade? He told me that I was to take charge and supervise the building of all the toys and floats and costumes and so forth. As you might suspect, Walt had very specific ideas about how he wanted the parade to look. He said, Bill, we're not in competition with the Rose Parade. He didn't want the floats too big or out of scale. He didn't want little kids to have to lean backwards and look up high to see. I had no experience in any of that, but you never said no to Walt when he told you to do something. He thought you could do it, so you did it, and it usually turned out surprisingly well. I guess he picked me because it was going to be a toy parade and X and I had designed all the toys in the picture, and he wanted the same type of toys. It was tough. We had to take the soldiers, so we designed down there and put somebody in them to wear. So we had to make compromises. They needed to look exactly like our toy soldiers in the film, but real people had to be able to move in them. They're still using those soldiers today in the parade, although they have to occasionally rebuild them. They're still using the reindeer that X designed that were the funny looking reindeer with the tongues hanging out. They still use the glockenspiel girls and a lot of other stuff we originally did. We had toy cannons, we had big clowns and little carolers and things that were toys that would be done in miniature for the movie. They were only about so big and the toy soldiers were about 12 inches tall, but now we were designing these things that were like 6-foot tall soldiers and toys that would be giant toys. We did a whole parade of those things. Later on, I did the snowmen and snow women and the dancing Christmas trees that twirled around and were costumes and so forth. So this toy parade came out of the same time as the movie. Really, a bad movie inspired a good parade. We usually started the Christmas parade as soon as school gets out, which is usually the second weekend. We'd run the Christmas parade twice a day, or once in the afternoon and once the evening until New Year's. The person who was in charge of entertainment in those early days was Tommy Walker. He was wonderful, and one time he came up with a great gag for the parade for the preview night. Each year we would have a preview night of the parade for the press, studio management, invited dignitaries, and more. Walt would be there to welcome everyone. He'd be sitting on the top of the bleachers in front of the train station with his wife. Tommy had my wife Maria sitting across the street from the reviewing stand so she could be seen clearly. She had a little boy that everyone assumed was her son. It was actually Roy's son, Roy E. Disney. He would run out in the street every now and then and attract attention. A balloon vendor came down the street and approached Marie with her son. The balloon vendor was actually Wally Bogue, who was the entertainer at the Golden Horseshoe Review, and a very funny guy. He gave the balloons to the little boy, and he rose straight up in the air, holding onto the balloons. Marie started running after him, shouting. The audience gasped, but we let them in on the gag. Marie had switched her live son with an identical costume doll. We had quite the time making it light enough to be lifted by the balloons. We had a note on it saying that anyone who found the doll bring it back for free Disneyland pass, but it was never returned. Those were the first character costumes I ever designed, and Walt liked them so much I found myself doing costume designing for characters in the park. I worked with Bob Phelps, who came from Western Costume, as well as Tom Pierce and Jack Muse, who also had worked there. It was Bob who came up with the posts with the padded tops for the character heads. The kids would take off their heads and practically throw them on the ground. We spent a lot of money on those things, but the kids would be so exhausted they wouldn't put them on the ground. Walt was very interested in character costumes. At one time at the meeting, they were kind of poo-pooing the costumes not being important and wanted to move on to another subject. Walt stopped them. Wait a minute, he said. Our character costumes are the most important thing we have in the park. They are so popular that you watch families come in, and if Mickey Mouse comes out or Pluto or Goofy or any of them come out, the first thing they do, the child runs to the character and they've got to get their picture taken with Mickey or whoever it is. Other parks can have their thrill rides, they can have their bands, they can have pigeons with ribbons on them, and they can have sorts of other things, but they can't have our characters. They are very important to us. There's more, but I'm going to stop there just because we had a little to talk about. So, really interesting interview about like the one who designed these costumes for this parade. And sometimes I just want to give you guys the actual primary source instead of just paraphrasing it all for you. So that's basically the parade. Now we're back to the international section like we saw.
Yeah, that is incredible because it really does bring you full circle now to what the parades look like, you know? Hang on, let me see if I can find...
Sorry, Elliot's texting me.
No, you're good. I honestly, I had to run up while I put the parade on a stand because my daughter was opening, all the way inside the house was opening my AirPods kit. And I was like, oh no, she's going to say something. I pull it in and she has one in and I'm like, oh, so I had to quick run and get it. But amazingly, I did film this. I caught it last year. So if you are lucky enough to be in Disney when they like the week of Christmas. You don't have to be at the Christmas parade to see the Christmas parade. So, or the whatever. What do you call that? You don't have to be at Very Merry to see it. So I'm gonna just scroll through and try to see some of these other characters.
Jackie, that interview is not in a book, but I will post it in Distory on our Discord so you can read it.
Everybody always likes Max, but I'm gonna find. Now I don't know if these guys were in there, but they look so reminiscent, like they could. The gingerbread men.
Oh, the gingerbread men were later. So
Okay.
we can actually probably move on to that. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah. So that was in
Let me
the
jump back to the toy soldiers.
that was in the Fantasy on Parade, I believe. Let me double check. No, that's the Very Merry Christmas Parade. So what happened from this point was there was kind of the parades would kind of like trade on and off for a little while. There was on 1964 they changed it to the Fantasy on Parade, which stuck around for a while, and then it became the Very Merry Christmas Parade, which is where the gingerbread cookies are, in 1977 through 1979, and then the Fantasy on Parade came back. So it was just kind of did this weird kind of flip-flop thing for a while. But the cookies, the gingerbread cookies, I actually have kind of a fun fact about them. I have an early picture of them too. But the problem with the cookie costume was that they were made out of Scott foam, and they looked great, but they didn't hold up so well. So when it rained, they became walking sponges because it absorbed all the water. And so like by the end of the parade, that made them really, really heavy. They would come in like sloshing into the gate in town square because they absorbed all the water, which I thought was hilarious. I do have a picture of the gingerbread men somewhere, the historic ones here. This is what the ones made that had all the foam. They look like this.
These ones look like they're made out of just like a felt almost.
Yeah.
Oh, and foam. The heads are definitely foam. I mean, you wouldn't want to get these things wet. He was looking at me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was in the. Which parade are you showing right there?
That is, well, that's the one they actually do for Very Merry, but I caught it during regular park hours because I didn't live down here at the time, so I had a whatever the platinum pass, like whatever the big pass was, so I didn't have any blockouts. So I was like, oh, I guess I can just go during the week of Christmas. So I did, and it was awesome. I was like, you can see this parade without a ticket? Fun fact, you can also see any of the Halloween or the Christmas party fireworks without a ticket if you go to the Poly Grand Flow, or my favorite spot is the Contemporary. Contemporary, you can go watch them upstairs, and nobody will bother you.
At Disneyland, they don't even have a Christmas party this year. They just do it every night, just the Christmas fireworks. So
I think that's so cool. But
yeah.
like, don't you get a show too on Small World that's different as well?
Yeah, it's not a show. Just the whole show of Small Worlds changed to Christmas music and decorations, and the whole thing's lit up. I mean, it does kind of like they light it up at 5 p.m., so that happens. But then we have World of Color, which is also a holiday show, which we'll talk about more on Mom Street tonight. So I won't take our time up about that. But I mean, there's a lot of like great Christmas stuff happening at Disneyland right now. So 1964. Fantasy on Parade was so this was actually the first Disney parade to have units that would stop and perform along the parade route, because otherwise it was just like they just rolled on by like a traditional parade at the time. But this one would have actual units that would stop and perform, and it was Pete, the villain Pete, was his only known Disney Parks appearance, and he drove a dog catcher vehicle. And I was actually not able to find a picture of that, otherwise I wanted to see it.
What was it? What was the year?
1964. It's called Fantasy on Parade. And as the new parade was developed, at this point, this is when Walt wanted to improve the character costumes to be more on model. So height ranges had not been established yet. Sometimes Mickey and Minnie were 6 feet tall. And at first, only males were hired as costume characters, but practice that would generally continue with a few exceptions until 1973. So it was like just men in the costumes. And then at Walt's request, a new Mickey Mouse costume was designed by John Hench. Walt wanted to cast a smaller performer for the Mickey role and standardize the performer's height in the costume. Paul Castle was personally selected by Walt to perform as the new, smaller Mickey for Fantasy on Parade, where he beat a massive rolling drum. And then
The rolling drum is pretty wild.
it is.
I mean, it's huge. Hang on. So here's from the Fantasy on Parade, and here's the giant drum that literally Mickey straight up would whack from the top.
I think I've got this one, I think is from that. I don't know why it's in black and white. Maybe that's-
Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum.
Fantasy on Parade. This was like the ticket for it. It's all backwards, sorry. And then I think this is where they started having. So I have a news article that was about this parade from the LA Times from 1965, and I love this one. It says, it's titled, Disneyland Yule Capers Delightful. If you think Disneyland is as a 12-month-long Christmas as all of us middle-aged kids do, you wonder how it can top itself during the season itself. But its twice-daily, hour-long Fantasy on Parade achieves this to the shrill satisfaction of the genuine chronological kids who attended with me Sunday afternoon. The ingenuity of the Disneyland designers remains endless and amazing. A long lavender caterpillar deploys winged butterflies who do dainty little dance before caterpillaring up Main Street again. The wooden soldiers and their band really look like wooden soldiers, so they just repurposed the wooden soldiers there. Beyond the Disney standards, there are fine performing dogs and dancing bears. Goofy performs with a delightful trick car, and Mickey himself beats the world's largest bass drum. Santa himself is strictly traditional, jollity-wise, but his prancing reindeer, Tinkling and Silly, repurposed reindeer, are out of the Burbank tradition and very nearly upstage the ultimate complement to the Disney magic. And I love this line. All in all, it's a whiz-bang caper, likely to give the Anaheim Pleasure Dome a very populous holiday season.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like Distory is a whiz-bang caper. It's a great show. You should enjoy the whiz-bangery that we have here.
Whiz-bang caper.
I found this advertisement while I was looking for Pete. Don't miss the Fantasy on Parade.
Yep. And it's I feel like all my photos got all mixed together. So Fantasy on Parade came back. Like it went away in the late 70s and then it came back.
Well, okay, hang on. You want to see the caterpillar? I just had a caterpillar picture, but I don't know if it's from that parade, so I don't want to
Oh, I found some.
misspeak for it. He looks real moody.
I found him. He's this one.
Oh, okay. That's not the one I have.
And then he had little butterflies that came out to like prance
Okay,
around
so-
like this.
So clearly I missed the caterpillar. Oh, whoa, that's cool. Mm-hmm. A metamorphosis right before your eyes. This was what I was looking at.
Oh yeah, that's a different parade.
Yeah, I was like,
Although this,
I missed the context of it.
check out this.
Well, even in that 1962 YouTube video of the parade, there was Alice, and that exact Mad Hatter was a part of it.
Yeah, I mean they just repurpose a lot of the stuff for these parades. They didn't just create. And this one's a giant doll, Small World doll, a huge one.
It's a world.
Why does Kirk always find the creepy versions? Yeah,
Creepy versions of what?
I don't know. All of the things. I think it's
Oh,
interesting
here,
that they have.
I got you. I got you some creepy stuff. There you go. There you go, you bunch of creeps. Because the dwarves were there. You can see where they would actually look out of would be up in this
That looks more
hat
like the
region right there.
1960s, 61
It was.
version. Yeah.
Yeah. But they just were saying creepy stuff, so I'm giving the people what they want. Here, you want some more creepy stuff? Here you go. Here's a creepy. What is that? Is that supposed to be Dumbo?
Yeah, that's Dumbo.
Where is this
That was
taking me?
early
Hang on.
Dumbo.
This is not a good Dumbo at all. This is a
Well,
whoa,
so I have this one.
whoa.
Oh, oh yeah, no, that's the same Dumbo that they, I think, close to the same Dumbo they used when in the opening day of Disneyland. If you look in the footage for that, because they had to like remember how they had to distract people away from the fact that Dumbo wasn't
They
open yet.
should they should have distracted people away from that Dumbo. Because people are like, what is wrong with that thing?
This is very much like a precursor to Aladdin. We've got kind of this like Arabian scene with the dancers. And then we have this one with the shoes. Very genie-esque shoes.
Well, that's well, I'm not gonna lie. Kind of catch that vibe a little bit.
Now here's
With
the
you.
dancing dogs.
Oh, these are
You're
also
showing your Crocs.
no. These are dancing dogs. Don't you
Oh,
get
dancing dogs. Oh, I get it. These little doggies doing their thing.
Yeah, apparently, Busch Gardens had forever like an animal talent show, but ever since the pandemic, they haven't brought it back. I always love those when they. I know they do one in Universal. I think Hollywood they still have an animal show. It's really
Yeah.
good. Shoes, not shows. I was showing you my shoes. That's what you meant to say, right?
the show.
Heidi? On the show.
On the show. I love this one. You can see the star on the Matterhorn really clearly. This is Pinocchio, but you can kind of see, you can't see them very well. And then this one's the boat with Captain Hook and Smee. Very small Jolly Roger. It's like a dinghy.
It's a dinghy, yeah. It looks like
a
they're
dinghy.
in the "Help me, Mr. Smee," and like Smee is like paddling to him.
Yeah. And we have the like dragon that apparently scared a lot of small children
It scares me.
because he would
Look at all
breathe
those feet.
smoke.
So many
Oh, and
feet.
I love this one. This is Donald in a Mr. Toad car.
Oh, I love that one.
It was like an actual Mr. Toad car that moves, which
That
I
could
love.
drive.
Like, that could drive, yeah. I think that's most of the ones I have. Oh, and you can see the soldiers, same ones we saw before, just repurposed.
New and improved.
So that was the first run of the Fantasy on Parade, and then we went to the Very Merry Christmas Parade, like I said, from 1977 to 1979, and this is when we first saw Pete's Dragon and Elliot in the parade because it was released in 1977. So there's an actual dragon in that parade. Trying to see, that's when we had the gingerbread men. Trying to find. Oh, here he is. Oh. There he is.
Oh, he looks so cute.
These photos are definitely all. I love this. They had a lot of Robin Hood. as
Great
well.
film. So underrated.
Oh, Robin Hood's my favorite of all the animation, which is funny because it's like you would think it would be. Cinderella's a very close second. This is the Very Merry Christmas Parade. This is its very inaugural day, I think, or run. And then they had Mary Poppins with the dancing penguins. And they had a Casey Jr. float. We've got a good classic Winnie the Pooh.
Boo. Boo. Sorry, I was saying poo. You didn't hear me.
Well, and then we've got Mickey and Minnie in Walt's car. And I think Donald's in this one. But you can see, though, how now they have a bit more consistency in their appearance than what they previously had. And here's kind of the artwork for it. Super cute.
which we get still today in our parade. The whole concept of like Clarabelle is baking. There's the gingerbread house where Max is driving in front of. So yeah, very much.
And I love this. So this is when we first see the snowmen too, which a lot of people love the snowmen. They came in first here in 1977, and then you can see that they look like today, just for comparison. So
Adorbs.
I love that like the current Disney parades are very, very much like this like conglomeration of all these ideas from all the different years. You know, and obviously some things have been dropped and some things have been added, but over time that's what it is. So then I don't have too much else for 1977, but 1980 the Fantasyland parade comes back again and is there for 7 years, and then we get the Very Merry Christmas parade comes back after that. So the 1980 Fantasyland parade has a Cinderella unit, a Pinocchio unit, a Dumbo unit, Goofy's car, Robin Hood unit, a dog catcher's truck, Peter Pan unit, and a Mary Poppins unit. Sorry. And I do have some photos of that one.
The Mary Poppins one.
Just in general, the Fantasyland parade. So as you can see, I'm going to flip this for you guys.
The Festival of Fantasy on Parade.
This one's 1980. Kind of like the simplicity of that, not going to lie. Those fonts are definitely coming back. Like,
oh, yeah.
This one's 1976. Let's see. Here's a good one of Mary Poppins. She's on a rooftop.
Mary Poppins.
They have Herbie.
The love bug.
The love bug.
My least favorite part of All-Star movies.
You really don't like it? You're not a fan of Herbie. You know, they almost started a ride of Herbie. They were going to have like a whole full-on action ride.
Very happy that didn't exist.
What do you have against the love bug?
I don't know. Everything.
Everything.
Everything it stands for.
Okay.
His name.
I have something actually really cool for this parade. I've got the original schematics for it, like the layouts for how they were supposed to line up. Which is pretty neat. So this would be the Dumbo unit. They show all the characters that are supposed to be in it. And I have one for each one, but I won't bore you with them. Of course, I saved them for my own. I love that they have Robin. This is the Robin Hood unit. Little Prince John. His crown keeps slipping down around that pointed head. And then we have the Dumbo. Dumbo and his little, like, fiery house.
That was one of my favorite treats from last year's Mickey's Not So Scary. It was Boo Bash. Boo Bash there was a Prince John sucker slush, and it came with a
Love that.
It came with a ring pop, so it looked like, you know how he always has that big old ring on his finger.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's great. They did have Jiminy Cricket standing in a badge, I guess would be what that is.
It's a representation of your conscience.
Conscience. Yeah, it does say conscious. It probably says official conscience on it. It's just hard to see the other side. And then this one's like, it's pretty hard to see, but it's like Goofy and a jalopy rolling on through. So it's really interesting that a lot of this isn't necessarily like Christmas themed.
No, it's just characters.
And then, yeah, this would be Casey Jr., which they repurposed several times, this float. You see it in different colors in different parades. And I think that's most of them. Oh, I had a Cinderella one. I got two. So this is what the coach looked like for Cinderella.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because they re-released Cinderella right around this time, so they were trying to promote that. And then this
Back
is
from the vaults. The
Yes.
Disney vaults.
And this is the float.
Gus
with
Gus.
it. Fairy Godmother. And they had a huge giant fanfare with like a bunch of horses and knights and things too, just to make it very royal, fanfare, all the things. So yeah, it's a lot more just like characters versus Christmassy for that one. That's the fantasy on parade. So it's like they leaned more into the movies and the characters, and then
Things that were
they
being
brought,
released.
yes, and then so that was in 1980. But in the 1987, they're like, we should probably do something Christmassy. So they brought back the Very Merry Christmas Parade again. And then we finally landed where we are now in Disneyland, which is the Christmas Fantasy Parade. And the one that was in 1995 has changed in like what characters they've added to it. They did have a lot of ones that were more popular back in the day. And they've updated them to more recent characters, but a lot of the concepts in the parade are very similar to what they were in 1955. So I have a few pictures here and there of those ones somewhere. Like we can see the soldiers. This is what they look like now. And they are also in Disneyland Paris. I actually saw this parade for the first time in Disneyland Paris. And then they made it snow after the parade. It was so magical. We loved it. We've got the beginning float. And let's see what else. This is kind of like Mickey and Minnie on theirs. And we already showed the snowmen and so on and so forth. So a lot of you are familiar with that parade, so I won't go into high detail of it. They do have the princesses, kind of the royal one. And there's a toy factory, which you can see. Remember how we saw those like Happy Holiday blocks? I feel like this really ties into this. Like it's like they've taken that idea and just remixed it to what we have now. Oh, and then the reindeer, which really, they look pretty similar. They're a little bit different.
Yeah, they have holly on their backs, and the antlers are different.
But they're still around. Babes in Toyland. And you already showed the gingerbread
They're a
men.
fan favorite, too.
And then they added floats like this one for Elsa. You know, they just update them with the newer characters. There's a lot of people though that like I was reading about this and they're just like, this parade needs a complete revamp or redo. And you know, if you look historically, like that's fairly true. Like it's about time for them to really maybe come up with something new. But unless they don't really have an incentive to do it, you know. So financially, it makes more sense to just keep rolling out the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. Although I am a huge fan of making small, subtle changes make a world of a difference.
Yeah. Well, I
They
think
can take a lot of the things that they already have and repurpose them.
well, I think, you know, there's something to be said for people expect the toy soldiers and the reindeer and now the snowmen. You know, like they have like
But those are nostalgic. Like I think those stay, and then you change out some of the other things. Even if they're reusing the same floats and changing out characters with holiday outfits, like we all freak out when a character's in a new holiday outfit.
we do.
That's like a big deal.
Yeah. Yep, it's true. Yeah. So, I mean, we have been talking for a long time, so I won't get into any Disney World parades at all.
Nope.
But that is the not so brief history of the Disneyland Christmas parades, and I think it's really interesting to look back and see how the parades we have now really are just like bits and pieces of all of these historic parades, except for maybe the circus one. You don't get a lot of the circus one.
Yeah, the circus
get
didn't do
Santa.
anything for me.
Santa is
Yeah.
all we get from that, really. So.
And the tree was cool.
The tree, yeah. And I love that the tree, having the tree in the square as well is like, that was an idea that they imported into Disney World when they did it because it was tradition at Disneyland.
And I like the carolers or choirs performing. I do like that.
Yeah. And that just continued. I didn't mention it after 1958 was when the official first one was, but it continued every year after that, and now it's just been tradition in the parks. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Whew, that was a journey.
It was, it was, thanks for allowing us to parade you around.
For 2 hours.
This is a quick one.
It's a quick one. It's never a quick one. Never. It's a shocker
No,
that we even
no.
got through that in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I could
Mm-hmm.
talk for longer, but we'll just leave it there. It's
Yeah.
it's plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, well, you know what? Here, I'll wrap the show and then we'll talk about other things
Okay.
because you have a lot going on both tonight and tomorrow, and then what you're doing next week. So you want to talk about all those things. So thank you for hanging out for another episode of Distory with Kate, the Disney Cicerone, and myself, Kirk from Walrus Carp. And thanks so much for just enjoying a little bit of Disneyland parade history. I know for those that are listening to this auditorily, if you'd like to see it on Walrus Carp on YouTube, you can find it there because visually some of that stuff does add to it. But yeah, Kate, what do you got?
Yeah, but just I will just say thank you everybody for joining us for this particular episode. This is so fun to just kind of get in the Christmas spirit with you all. So thank you for that. So for all the other things, what we have going on, Victoria also asked if we wanted to open things. I don't know if we want to open the package.
I thought we were gonna do it. I thought we were gonna do it tomorrow.
We can do it tomorrow.
Do it tomorrow?
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it would be a very sweet thing to add to our heated debate about Michael Eisner, which is what's happening tomorrow. So tomorrow night, well, let me start tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about on Mom Street, USA at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern. We're talking all things Christmas. So I might swap out my hat. Maybe I'll just keep wearing this one. I'm not sure. But I'll be back here in a couple of hours with my lovely friend, which is Mama Jackie. And we are going to talk about all things Christmas in Disneyland and Disney World. So if you're like headed for the holidays, thinking about going for the holidays, or maybe just thinking about next year for Christmas, really great episode to just kind of plan out what you want to do during that time in all of the parks and resorts and everything. So it's going to be a great episode. Hopefully we'll see you guys for that. And then tomorrow, Kirk and I will be back at our usual time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern for Distory. With Kate and Kirk, we'll be talking about having a debate. I think it's our first debate we've ever had on the show.
Yeah.
On the show specifically.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we debate on this show, but not purposefully.
I know.
Usually it's an argument that just happens because we start looking at details and
Yeah.
conversing about them.
Well, I'm so glad we didn't lose that witch debate. Because I was sad that episode disappeared. I'm glad it came back. So
No, it was a spirited debate,
it was.
which still doesn't have a great resolution, by the
No.
way. We're still very
What?
left on.
I feel like the
'Cause there's
Pinocchio clothes one is now resolved.
That's resolved. This one is still unresolved
It's only
because there's still no
because
definitive.
you won't let it go. You won't see the light. You won't see the
Call
facts.
me Elsa, and call me Punzi because I won't let it go. And at last, maybe you'll see the light that it clear. We're not getting into this, Kate.
Okay. So, yeah. So it'll be. You guys can even, give us some of your comments and input too as we're debating about this. We're going to talk about Michael Eisner. And I don't know if there's like a specific question about him. Kirk and I always go back and forth about he thinks that he's contributed a lot to Disney and did a lot and it was great. And yes, but for me. So it's going to be a very interesting conversation because we go back and forth about Michael Eisner all the time. So we're finally going to just like bring it to a head and have a conversation about Michael Eisner. So what he
Yeah, we're just
did or did
gonna.
not do for
Yeah,
Disney.
I mean, yep. Well,
Yeah.
I think I did already win. Never mind. I'm not gonna get into this because I'll save it for tomorrow. Save it for tomorrow.
Distory will be at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. And then we'll also be opening up a surprise gift from Victoria and the Pocket Fam, which we both have, but we don't know what it is. It's just a box that's sitting in my house And so we'll be doing that as well.
It does say fragile, so it must be Italian.
Mine is dropped on the corner. It has like a whole corner dented. I'm like, of course. Of course, because it says fragile all over it.
Well, you said you shook it, so that probably helped.
I gently, like you do with Lego shaking, like see if it's Legos, like this. And then what else? So then next week I am headed to Disneyland. Woo! So I'm gonna be there Monday, hopefully through Friday. I can only hold 4 reservations at a time, so I'm gonna pray I can get one for Friday. We'll just see how that goes. If not, I'll come up with a plan B for Friday. But I'll be live streaming for sure almost all day on the 15th, November 15th for, it's going to be a challenge for Disneyland 1955 challenge. So I'm going to eat and live and ride like it is 1955 in Disneyland as much as humanly possible and not do the stuff.
What day are you doing that?
That's the 15th. I think it's a Tuesday, November 15th. So
that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Try to pick a day when you guys weren't already wandering around the park. So
who cares about me?
Everybody cares about you. No. So that'll be a really fun live. And then I'm going to Walt's apartment for the very first time ever as a gift from the Pocket Fam. So thank you guys for that. I'm super excited. I got my own I got an outfit. I'm ready. So I'll do a live after that to chat about it.
Are you dressing like Walt and you have fake mustache? Is that what you're telling me?
No. It's more of just like an outfit that I like, kind of Christmassy.
Hi, this is Walt from my apartment. I'm gonna go get some orange juice.
Crayon.
Oh, God. I had a crayon right in front of me.
Yeah, I'm excited about the apartment. So thank you everybody who is helping me get there, because I've been looking at that and being like, I wish, but I'm on a really tight budget. So I was like, it's such a huge blessing to get to go, and I'm so excited. And I don't even care what GD Plus cost that day. I'm paying for it so I can get my PhotoPass photo. I'm just gonna do it because
that's a must do.
It's a must do.
It's a must do.
And then I'll just do some live streaming throughout the rest of the week too, just to show you guys some. I'm kind of thinking about doing the holiday food like festival that they have in California Adventure with like the Sip and Savor Pass. Just like that might be my only big food splurge for the whole trip. And then do it live and taste stuff with you guys. So we'll see.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be.
Maybe I'll join you and we'll do some holiday foods with like something, because I got holiday foods coming like crazy. They're everywhere. All over the place.
That would be super fun. Yeah, well, Kirk, you and I need to figure out if there's a time we want to do some dual lives from Disneyland and Disney World at the same time, because those are always really fun.
We do need to do that.
Yes. I mean, we figured this out, so we can do this. We could do anything.
Yeah. We could do anything. That's right.
Yeah. So lots and lots of exciting things. I would love to see you guys during lives at Disney. You know how I am on lives. I'm always like, I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna go have fun and do it anyway. So it's
okay. It says the lady. It says the lady who's like, okay, well, if you didn't realize that this is the shade of paint from 1962 that was altered, I don't really know what to say. Oh, over here, this over here. Like, literally, you have infinite things to say.
I do.
Infinite.
If as long as I can talk about Disney history and not myself, I can talk all day. So
it's not like it's not like you're going to be like, hey, this is about me. It's about the parks.
It's about the parks. We always have a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. And I don't know. I looked into getting like some Wi-Fi extender and stuff for AT&T, and it's just not in the cards for my budget right now. So it is what it is. So
just walk behind Sharif the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
Be like, yo, dude, I need to borrow your hotspot. I'm just plugging in.
If I hang out with him at all, he'd probably let me do that. But I don't think for like all day. I think that he'd probably frown on that.
I need your Wi-Fi.
You know how much I like to use people. Like, it's terrible. Anyway, so really exciting things. I needed, like, honestly pack for that trip. I have not. I packed like 2 things. I have my suitcase open with like 2 things, and I was like, this is not going to cut it.
Yeah, you'll get there.
It's time to
get there.
pack. I know.
Yeah.
I have my flights. I had
You
to
got
get, like,
shows. You're busy, busy, busy. You got to do it
I
tomorrow.
know.
Do it tomorrow.
I know. I got to do it after Distory. Because we have Mom Street and then we have another Distory. And I'm like, once I get past those.
And do it tomorrow morning. Do it tomorrow morning. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Suitcase and a dream. Yeah. I can, for AT&T, I can still live stream if I don't have AT&T, but the parks kind of favor AT&T. They have better signal. So especially Disneyland, it seems to be really bad there. So when I have a Verizon, and so it's fine. Sometimes I can get on the park Wi-Fi, and when that's working well, like, I still stream pretty well. But there's sections like the Haunted Mansion, which we've learned, like, I just literally cannot stream the Haunted Mansion. It just goes out. And I have no.
Yep, we were so close, yet so far away.
It was so frustrating. Which is sad because I love that ride and they have Haunted Mansion Holiday. So I can kind of show it from the outside, but I probably won't be able to live stream in it just because my signal will disappear. So
Just record the whole thing and post it as a static video.
yeah, I'll probably do that.
Are we making YouTubes?
I should. I'll have to think about that. Definitely the 1955 day. I think I'm going to do that. I'll bring my
You should definitely do that.
Yeah. So yeah, I need
Okay.
to start thinking more about that. I'm just trying to, yeah. I have to finish the 1955 challenge day because I've got artwork and Canva and pictures and just want to make it all cohesive. So be fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Good things coming.
Awesome.
Whew.
Sweet. I got nothing else. I don't know. I don't know what's to.
What are you doing next week? Have you decided what you're doing?
No. I know we had the high-low challenge on Wednesday, which is, we didn't do it yesterday because of the storm. So that is to ride the highest attraction and lowest attraction in each park and try to find the tallest or longest food and the shortest and smallest food.
Longest food, is that like a hot dog or something? Like,
Maybe like a foot-long hot dog, but like I would think a churro would be. I think a churro, and they have a really cool one. They have
6 inches usually. No, 12 inches. They're 12 inches. They originally were 6 and they made them 12.
Yeah.
They're 12.
So we'll find out.
Yeah.
A baguette.
Ooh,
There
a
goes
baguette.
the baker with his tray like always. Yeah, maybe. I saw somebody
be
put a
interesting.
video on here, like it showed up on my FYP. It was like, have you ever been to this secret restaurant in the back of France? They even have things like baguettes. And I was
no.
like,
Secret.
secret? It's like the spot for bread.
It's like don't we all know about that? Do we not?
Yeah. I might have to start making like more videos where it's like, check out this secret, and it's like straight up like, check out this secret store on Main Street, USA, where you can get most of your souvenirs. It's called the Emporium.
Emporium.
I'm gonna have to like just do like the most obvious secrets. Did you know that there's a ride inside the Epcot ball? It's called Spaceship Earth. It's kind of a secret because it's underneath.
There would be people that would be like, "What? There's a ride
There's
in
a
there?"
ride in there? This is crazy.
Did you know that there's a secret cave in the back of Magic Kingdom that has a whole restaurant themed like Beauty and the Beast?
See, that's a little bit further away. Like I could see somebody missing that somehow, but like,
I know,
you know,
but it's there. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Well, and then there's like
the not so secret secrets of
not so secret,
the Disney parks.
so facetious. They love it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, I better go and prep for
Okay.
Mom Street. So I'll see
Go and prep.
everybody in a
All
couple
right,
of hours.
everybody. Yeah, pop back on here in like I don't know 4 hours or so, and go hang out with Jackie and Kate and learn something
Yeah, it'll be fun.
about the holidays in the parks. Yeah.
This time. Yeah, it'll be good. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I went thrifting the other day because that's my life now, and I found a Davy Crockett record, Disneyland record. So
Oh, cool.
I added
Look
it
at
to
you.
the collection.
You're like, it's a great place to find like good finds on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I had a lot of fun. It was great.
Yeah.
That's where I found that
It's always fun.
Disneyland songbook too that Elliot plays with. So.
Yeah, you never. You know what I like? It's like the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know. I always feel that way when I go to Disney Character Warehouse. It's like, it could be junk, but there might be one diamond in the rough, and
Yeah. Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. You can't go in with expectations. You just have to like.
No,
be
you just
free.
go like, it's going to be trash, and then you go in and you're like, oh, I found treasure.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm kind of like thinking about this trip to Disneyland, and I was like, I know I've got like the challenge and I've got Walt's apartment, but I was like, I'm really just going to just like be there. Like I feel like emotionally, I just want to like be there.
Yeah, that's important.
You know?
That's important to, you need this.
Yeah, it'll be really good for me to just.
That's like, I feel like that should be the theme park's slogan. You need this.
You need this.
Book a trip. You need this.
You need this, and everybody would
Yeah.
be like, I really do.
I do. You
I
knew
do.
it. Where do I sign?
How did you know?
Interest-free financing? What?
It'd be effective right about now. Everybody feels like they need it. So.
I'm sure it would. I'm sure it would. All right. Get out of here.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Kirk. It was fun, and I love
Yeah, it's
your
always
hat.
fun. I always learn so much. I love these.
The hat with
So.
the cheese is getting me. It's so good.
No, the cheese stands alone.
Cheese.
So.
Okay. All right. I'll see
right,
everybody
I'll see
back
you guys.
here in a couple hours from Elm Street USA.
Yep. Mom
Have a
Street
great
tonight.
afternoon.
See you
We'll see
guys.
you tomorrow.
Bye.